Welcome back to This Nerd Life, the show where I throw out a movie, a book, a video game, and an album, all from my past that constructed this nerdy individual before you, in an attempt to broaden horizons and get people to leave their comfort zones, check out new stuff all around. This week's show is focused on dystopian future, because I got cast in a short film that takes place in a dystopian future, so I figured, what the hell, let's do some themes. There's some cool stuff out there that has to do with the dystopian future, and look, there's no wasteland cannibals in the film because people are full of shit, and that probably doesn't taste good. So the film for this week is a cool little sci-fi film called Pandorum. It was directed by Christian Alvart, and it stars Ben Foster and Dennis Quaid. That's the sane Dennis Quaid. Not the conspiracy theorist thinking that if he fucks his wife on a webcam, it'll keep the aliens away from him. Randy Quaid. No, not that Quaid. Dennis Quaid. He's the alright one. Trust me. If that stuff sounds crazy, it's because it all happened. Randy Quaid literally did all of those things and believes all of those things. Fucking weirdo. The premise of Pandorum is the Earth can no longer sustain human life, and humanity is placed aboard ships in cryostasis to reach a habitable planet extremely far away. Ben Foster's character wakes up to go on shift as one of the pilot's maintenance men and finds that the ship has been overrun by humanoid monsters. With the help of sane Quaid, he tries to save the people in cryostasis and has to solve the mystery of what happened to the ship. Rotten Tomatoes has this film at a 28%, and I have to really start to wonder how all these critics survive when their heads are crammed so far up their ass and they have to fight for air. Pandorum is awesome. It's got awesome effects, it's got awesome creature effects. Ben Foster and Dennis Quaid kill it, man. They just absolutely kill it. And it's got pretty decent plot twists, like 2 or 3 of them. So go check it out if you want a good sci-fi horror type flick that will kind of leave you wondering. So the book for this week, I'm kind of cheating on. It's a comic book series. And don't get scared, it's not one of those crazy 100+ issues comics that you're just like, damn it, I gotta go out and buy Marvel Unlimited now for. No, it's nothing like that. It's actually only 10 issues, and it's called Tokyo Ghost. Written by Rick Remender and drawn by Sean G. Murphy and inked by Matt Hollingsworth, Tokyo Ghost premiered in September of 2015 and ended its run in August of 2016. The story is centered around the characters of Debbie Decay, God I love you Debbie, and her boyfriend Led Dent as sort of cops in 2089 Los Angeles. Rick Remender's dystopian future shows an exaggerated example of the modern addictions we face now. The drugs, internet, it's called the feed addiction, violence and sex. The ecological system has also fallen apart, food is scarce, and the last bastion of hope is Tokyo. The story has heavy elements of politics, greed, and climate change as Remender rails against those whom should abuse the system for their own benefit. Sean Murphy's drawings are a crazy mix of violent and beautiful and always seem to know when to be those things at the right moment, which are expertly complemented by Matt Hollingsworth's color. The entire series is available in a 3-volume graphic novel set. That's issues like 1 through 4, and then like 4 through 8, and then like, I don't know, 9 and 10 of the last 2 or something crazy like that. Or you actually can still find them in single issues if you're a collector. However, I just pre-ordered the deluxe edition, which comes out on July 11th, and it's got the entire series, all the variant covers in it, and a bunch of other extras and content because it is so good. Though, fair warning, if you are not interested in political stuff and making fun of political things and socio-political things, you might not like it. Or you might love it. You never know. Go check out Tokyo Ghost. So for the video game section this week, I want you guys to think of Horizon Zero Dawn. Everybody loved that game. It was phenomenal, fantastic, critically praised, but long before Aloy was ever a conceptual design, there was a game called Enslaved Odyssey to the West. It starred a character named Monkey, and the whole game was pretty much a dystopian future take on the old Chinese folklore of Journey to the West. It was so cool, and I absolutely loved it. Suffered a little bit from some, fight mechanics being kind of basic, but the game overall was awesome. So let me tell you why. Developed by Ninja Theory and published by Namco Bandai, the story of Enslaved takes place 150 years in the future after a global war has left the planet scarce of humans. The buildings have fallen into disrepair, with plant life covering most of them in what looks to be an attempt by the Earth to reclaim its territory. The main protagonists in the game are what known as mechs, leftover machines from the war that are still on a mission to destroy all of mankind. Monkey must escort a woman named Trip through New York City and 300 miles west to Trip's village. Enslaved had a ton of interesting characters. In fact, Andy Serkis himself voiced Monkey and even did his motion capture, and at one point in the game shows up as himself. Now, Andy Serkis is famous because of Lord of the Rings. He was the guy that played Gollum, Smeagol, oh my precious, sweet precious. Yeah, that guy. But he doesn't do that voice. It was a really rad game, and it took the concept of what Horizon Zero Dawn did so well, and it was like its prototype. So if you have an Xbox 360 and PS3, because this game came out back in 2010, check it out. I think the last time I saw it, it was like $5, but it is well worth more than that. I paid full price for it when it was brand new at $60, and I was not disappointed. So check out Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. For the music section this week, I'm cheating just like I did with the books because I really wanted to talk about my favorite MC of all time, Method Man. So for this week, to stick with the dystopian future, I want to talk about Tikal 2000. Now that's the second album for Method Man, but it was released in 1998 amid all that Y2K craze, and for you kids out there that weren't born yet or don't really remember it, basically there was this computer glitch where none of the computers could count past 1999, and there was a lot of conspiracy theories out there saying that once we hit 2000, if it wasn't fixed, all the computers in the world would shut down and die and we would be thrust back into the dark ages. It's kind of a bunch of bullshit. But the first song off of Method Man's Tikal 2000 was called Judgment Day, and it did kind of focus on what would happen if Y2K hit. So like I said before, the original single off the album was provoked by the Y2K virus that made a lot of people think that all technology was going to die, and the video for Judgment Day emulated that by having Meth sitting like some futuristic barbarian king on a throne and having all these cool weapons and armor, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Tikal 2000 had some really great rhymes in it and some really great team-ups.
Step in the square. Kids ain't playing over here. Player, only one way, and that's my way. Grim Reaper calling, Judgment Day. Let the countdown begin.
Big Dogs featured Redman, which is pretty much your typical Meth and Doc song, which means it's lyrically amazing and really upbeat to make your head nod. Another one of my favorites is Makeups to Breakups that featured D'Angelo. Meth's rap about a messed up relationship will have you all in your feels, and D'Angelo's one-line chorus will have a similar effect, even if the King of New Soul's voice is kind of wasted by just singing that one line. If you go check out these songs, it kind of gets you interested in Method Man, or you already are interested in Method Man but want to go back and check his older stuff, my favorite song of all time by Meth is actually off his first album, Tikal. Not Tikal 2000, just Tikal, and it's called Relisio Delve. Of course, check out all the other stuff that he did with Redman. He even was in a movie with him called How High, and the album for How High is actually pretty legit. And of course, their original album where they teamed up, two guys that just wrecked shop, Blackout, is just, oh my god, so amazing. But first, check out 2000 and go online and check out that video for Judgment Day, because it proves my dystopian future reasoning for doing this album. That's it for this week. I really hope you guys go out and check those 4 things. Remember, it's Pandorum, Tokyo Ghost, Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, and Tikal 2000 by Method Man. Next week, I'll have another theme. Maybe comedy, I don't know, I'm not too sure. I kind of want to base it around that awesome video game I was talking about earlier. but maybe I'll hold off on that until I have some more stuff to surround it. But anyway, check out all the other stuff that I do on geeksandgamers.com. I've got a bunch of articles out there along with all of my fellow writers. I actually have an article that should be out about faith and faithlessness in American gods. And of course, check out the main Geeks and Gamers YouTube channel, just geeksandgamers.com, where we got a bunch of really cool shows, including the all-female podcast Squee, which I produce, and it features two of the best Nerd Life players that I have, Lindsay and Virginia. You guys know them well. They've beaten me up many a times in videos that you have watched previously, or if you haven't, go back and watch them. They're a lot of fun. Of course, guys, as always, keep it nerdy, and I will catch you next week.